So we want to like do what Dan Jordan said. Dan Jordan is a wonderful man who was a stellar educator, okay, when I was young Baha'i. And he used to say, I never teach people the Baha'i faith. I give them salted peanuts, so many that they are thirsting for the spiritual waters that I have to offer. Basically, he said, unless they're pounding on my door at midnight going, tell me now, I don't share it. So that was his technique. He was well known. He had young people, curious, open minds around him all the time. It may or may not work for you, but the idea I think is good, is keep them wanting more. So is it a bad thing if we start a conversation and it's going well and we get interrupted? No, because that gives us another opportunity to have another conversation later. Is it a bad thing when we have to run errands out and about? No, I say that as somebody on a very limited budget on book tour, that I'm looking for opportunities to go talk to people. When I'm out and about, I'm usually spending money, which is not a good thing, all right? But when I have to, I take my bookmarks with me and I look for opportunities, and sometimes I don't even wait. I just say, while they're turning around ringing up the sale, yeah, I'm on book tour, traveling through, I've written a book. Usually what do they say? What's the book about? And then I launch into it's about a 13-year-old horse-loving girl who's suddenly thrown into the far future when world peace has finally arrived. And then I zip it. Sometimes they say, oh, that sounds interesting. Sometimes they don't say anything at all. Okay, but almost never do they say something negative, right? Because almost, everybody I've run into wants world peace. The one kind of backlash comment that I got, I wish she wouldn't have left. See, that's the only time we can't use it, is when they just leave, right? When they're not there to talk to anymore. Is she said, I believe that world peace is not going to happen until the Lord Jesus Christ returns. And she was saying this over her shoulder as she's walking off. If she had stayed, what could I have said?
He has.
Oh, he has, or I believe the same thing, let's talk. Don't we believe the same thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So this is where David Young did such a service with his videotape set of teaching Christians effectively. And I take my hat off to David Young, but I don't want to be elected to the National Spiritual Assembly like he did, because he traveled all around like I am, and so many people said, wow, this guy really knows what's going on, and they elected him to national, so I don't want to do that. But what he did was he explained to us, there's no fight. We don't need to see it as an us and them, right? We just need to see these truly as, brothers and sisters in faith, right? So I really do. Pardon?
Points of agreement.
Points of agreement, right? Whatever we can agree with, we should, make a point of sticking with those things. So I agreed with her, but she was assuming that I wouldn't. And so she walked off, and I was like, I wish she hadn't walked off, because we could have had a wonderful conversation, and I was looking forward to it. David Young's tape has helped me see how that conversation could go, and I highly recommend it. He's made that available now on the internet, I'm not sure.
Online now? I haven't looked to see.
I was told that it's...
Videotapes.
Yeah, the old set was videotapes, and I think I remember being told he put it online somewhere. All right, so let's use a specific TV show, Glee. Glee is very popular, yes? Okay, I've never watched it. Who's watched it? Anybody watched it? Do you like it? See, if you like it, you can use that. Guess what? If you don't like it, you can use it. Right? If it has connections with, Baha'i principles, we can use that, right? Guess what? If it doesn't have any Baha'i principles, we can use that too, right? So, Glee, whether you like it or whether you don't, let me give you an ideal response. If somebody, for example, says, oh, I can't get together with you that night, Glee is on, and I always get together with my friends and we watch it, That's called appointment TV, all right? So that she's really serious about it, and this is a real case that happened, all right? One example I'm going to give you as an ideal response is, oh, can you tell me more about that? Because I heard it has music, and as a Baha'i, I believe that music is a ladder for the soul, but we also have a very high moral standard, so I kind of need to know, or would like to know, what kind of music. Can you tell me more? The reason that's an ideal response is that it's like 2 breaths or less. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible, right? It mentions a Baha'i quote, and it gives another Baha'i principle. Then it turns it back over to them, right? Now, we can't always do that, but my suggestion to you is to think of that hierarchy of being supportive and loving, right? Living our faith. Then try to steer it onto something spiritual, like the virtues or a Baha'i principle, and then hopefully name the Baha'i, mention the word Baha'i, and quote Baha'i writings. Does that make sense? So we can, get as high up this ladder as we can when in our conversation.